Racism is never okay, whether in public or private, but it's especially not okay when you're someone with influence. Most recently, Nelson Piquet, ex-F1 champion, was seen on TV calling Lewis Hamiton the N-word in Portuguese. However, Hamilton didn't take it quietly. He hit back, rightfully so. Make sure you stay till the end of this video to find out how it all went down. Firstly, let's talk about Piquet's slur. Unfortunately, the relationship between racism and F1 goes way back. Ex-F1 chief Bernie Ecclestone has also called out Lewis Hamilton for his BLM activism several times. Then, in 2021, a Red Bull employee was fired for sending racist messages to his friends about Hamilton. It's also not a coincidence that Hamilton is the only person of African descent in F1's entire history. He's had to face quite a lot of prejudice throughout the years. And now, Piquet's racist comments have come to light. Talking about Hamilton on a Brazilian podcast, Piquet stated, quote, "The N-word put the car in the wrong way on the corner. It's because you don't know the curve. It's a very high curve. There's no way to pass two cars, and there's no way that you can put the car aside." He didn't exactly say the N-word, but rather he said the word in Portuguese. These comments weren't made recently. They were made in November of 2021, but light was shed on them recently. Piquet made these comments while discussing last year's Silverstone GP. The reason why Piquet made those comments was that he's extremely pro Max Verstappen. Why? Because his daughter is in a relationship with him. The contact between the two drivers sent Verstappen to the barriers. He was even taken to the hospital for help. Hamilton, however, went on to win that Grand Prix, his home race, for the 8th time. Hamilton fans claim Verstappen was the one who wasn't legally letting Hamilton pass. Verstappen fans say that it was Hamilton who caused the accident. Whatever side you're on, though, we can all agree that Piquet's comments were racist and hateful. This remark by Piquet was initially missed by the Brazilian media. It only came forward 8 months later. So, how did Hamilton hit back? Lewis Hamilton is known for always keeping it classy. He's never exploded on anyone, never made derogatory remarks, and despite facing racism constantly in the sport, he's always been able to keep his cool. Last Tuesday, Hamilton responded to the terrible remark made by the ex-champ. He claimed that it's now time for action to be taken. According to Hamilton, the F1 community and the larger global community need to condemn his actions and need to hold people like Piquet responsible. Hamilton even claimed that these old mindsets need to change. People with this point of view have no place in the F1. He claimed that he's been surrounded by people like this his entire F1 career and action needs to be taken. He's also sent out a tweet in Portuguese stating, "Let's focus on changing the mindset." But did the F1 community react to it? Yes, they did. F1 officials and fans came out in droves to support Mercedes' Hamilton. Even Red Bull fans came to his support, despite the agonizing rivalry on the track. F1 responded in an official statement slamming any form of racist or discriminatory language. They claimed that statements like these are unacceptable and have no place in society. They even claimed that Lewis is an incredible ambassador of the sport and he deserves immense respect. They even highlighted Hamilton's efforts to increase diversity and inclusion. Mercedes also were quick to react to his racist remarks. They claimed that they condemn in the strongest terms the use of any discriminatory and racist language. They also highlighted Hamilton's efforts to combat racism in the sport. They even went as far as to call him a champion of diversity on and off the track. Formula One racers also came to Lewis's aid. They flocked to Instagram and to Twitter to make statements in favor of Hamilton. They also talked about how they've known Hamilton for a long time and found him to be extremely respectful of everyone. Almost every racer put out a statement on social media platforms with black backgrounds talking about how Hamilton has been an incredible person and truly crucial to the sport. Fans also reacted with outrage. They've urged F1 to ban the 69-year-old from attending all future F1 events. They've challenged the sport to respect their "We race as one" motto. An F1 journalist even suggested that F1 should have Piquet investigated. A fan even claimed that this incident and all the excuses made by some drivers to avoid taking the knee just shows how far the sport has yet to come. And finally, what did Max Verstappen say? This whole fiasco has put Red Bull's Max Verstappen in an awkward position. If he didn't say anything, he would have been labeled as a racist. If he did say something, he'd go against his girlfriend's dad. Max criticized the racism anyway, but his criticism was extremely vague. Some people claim that he did say something, while some say that they're just empty words. Verstappen just started talking about racism in general, how it happens all over the world, and not only in F1. He also stressed the need for education on the matter. He also claimed that he supported Lewis's efforts to end racism wholeheartedly, but he didn't outright condemn it either. His girlfriend isn't condemning it though. Most recently, she liked an Instagram post from her relative supporting Piquet. Alright, so we've covered the Piquet-Hamilton saga quite in depth. We truly hope efforts are made, not just in F1, but globally, to make this world a better, more inclusive place. Anyways, there's always so much happening in Formula One that it can be hard to catch up, but don't worry, we've got you covered, because now we're going to talk about some other news coming to you straight from the world of of F1. Now, in other news, let's first talk about F1 bosses fighting each other. So, here's some background. Due to the new specs of this season's car, some cars are suffering from porpoising. This is where a car bounces at high speeds. However, the team that's facing the most problems with this phenomenon is Mercedes. Porpoising has been so bad for Mercedes that at Baku, Hamilton was having trouble getting out of the car because of back pain. Then, a technical directive, TD, from the FIA allowed them to use a second floor shortly before practice on Friday in Montreal. Mercedes quickly fixed the problem, but some people think that they fixed it a bit too quickly. Mercedes is the only one who used the second floor during practice, but according to Christian Horner, the time between the TD and the practice was too short. He implied that Mercedes couldn't have possibly come up with the second floor in that short time frame. The only way that they were able to do this was because of some inside information that was fed to them. And it's not just Horner. Other teams' bosses have also pushed back against the attempts to regulate this problem. They've claimed that TDs like these can cause safety issues in the middle of the season. As of right now, there's no clear indication whether Mercedes got inside information or not. How they fixed the problem was pretty fast, no doubt about that, but still, there's no clear indication that they cheated. Now let's talk about Bernie Ecclestone. Ecclestone was the majority shareholder of F1 before selling his stake to Liberty Media in 2016. However, he somehow found his way back into the news. Recently, he was arrested in Brazil for having a gun in his carry-on. The 91-year-old is out on bail as we speak. But what he did most recently is truly shocking. Speaking on Good Morning Britain, he stated that he would take a bullet for Putin. He even called him a first-class man. This is truly shocking considering everything that has been going on in Ukraine. He even defended Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Ecclestone claims that what Putin is doing is what he thinks is the right decision. He even claimed that mistakes happen from time to time when talking about a freaking war. But when he was asked about whether the thousands of deaths happening in Ukraine were intentional, he claimed that they were not. This story just keeps getting crazy. He even took a jab at Ukraine's president. He claimed that Vladimir Zelensky used to be a comedian and seems like he wants to keep this profession going forward. Anyways, enough about this insane story. Who wants to talk about the British GP this weekend? So, lastly, will it be raining at Silverstone this weekend? The most anticipated Grand Prix is here. Silverstone GP is one of the most beloved GPs of the sport. It's been a part of the sport ever since 1950. Another reason why this race is always exciting each year is because it's the home GP for Lewis Hamilton. Let's see what we should expect this weekend. As of right now, the outlook suggests that there's a slight chance of rain on Friday and Saturday. However, on the race day itself, it'll be sunny. If it does end up raining on Saturday though, it'll lead to some interesting qualifying results, just as it did 2 weeks ago in Montreal. We just hope that this weekend is action-packed as the last few British Grand Prix were. Well, that's all we have for you guys today. Does F1 need to do more to combat racism? Are they doing justice to their anti-racism slogan? Let us know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. We'll see you guys next time. Bye now.